hopefully the top should just pop off. Not all the way through there. That's what it looks like on the inside. It's the top part. Here's the weld area, so you cut below that so you're not going through the thick part. And then I started with about a quarter of the blade left, and that's what's left, just pretty much the nub. So that one's done. And that took me about 6 to 7 minutes to cut all the way around, but I was kind of going back and forth. If I would have done a continuous loop, it probably would have cut off a minute. And then here is the unit. So now this top just pops off. So this being my first time doing one of these, I imagine others will go better, but copper prices are pretty good right now. And I just want to see what it would be like to take one of these apart. So there is your copper coil, which goes all the way down into the bottom here. So I need to remove these 4 screws to take this off the base, and then I can get to that. There's some weird looking screws. Got these 2 screws out of the back here, but I've got 2 more that are still stripping. So I just removed this plastic piece here. What I'm going to do is take the grinder and cut slits here and bend this metal away so I can get some locking clamps on it to twist that out and just be done with it. And now the little unit just comes right off. So the rest of this I'm not going to even deal with. I don't think there's really much in there to care about, but that's all going into shred. I'll take maybe this unit off, and actually, no, that's steel, so I'm not taking that unit off. So I'll just get the copper out of this and be done with that. So I'm going to switch blades, take the angle grinder, go all the way around, take off this cone or top, and then hammer the rest through, and hopefully that's going to work out like I've seen in the videos. So after all that, huge rookie mistake is this is aluminum. So to me, it is not even worth doing everything that I just did to get that aluminum out. So with this one being aluminum, it's not really worth it to go any further for me. I am done. I'm going to go ahead and cut the tops off of these, see if there's any copper inside. If there's copper inside those, then I'll go ahead and take this off. But this is going as is. Now I can turn this in as a high steel aluminum, so that's fine, but I won't go any further than cutting the tops off if those are aluminum. So something I'll learn along the way, but it was a good experiment. See what it would take to get this stuff off and apart. That one took a lot longer than the other one. Holy cow. And the thickness looks about the same. That one took significantly longer. And it's the same type of blade. So, before I go any further, all that work for aluminum coils or aluminum threads. So that's as far as I'm going on that one too. And used up a good chunk of it. This is about what I started with on the first one. Let's see if I can get through that one just using this. I only paid about $1.50 a blade for these. These are DeWalt blades. So yeah, I've got it out. Let's do it. So this one I can't even test until I take this cover off. So I got to remove 3 bolts to do that. It's kind of a pain, actually. I can see a little bit right here, so I'm going to cut that. This one is actually copper, so I'll go ahead with the rest of this. All right, so that was a lot of fun. So I just cut off this cover most of the way and bent it back, and luckily all 3 of the screws that I need to remove away from the cover come loose, and the only one I need to check now is this one to see if this will come loose. See if we can get lucky and get all 4. Nope, that one just stripped on me. So that one I need to mess with. These 3 have come loose. I'm going to take those off, and I'm not going to film that. So it's been an hour and 10 minutes since I started this mess, and I finally got one copper coil I can deal with in a lot of dirty oil. So that I'm going to dump the oil out of. I've got another one to dump the oil out of. I'll just turn that in with my motor oil. But now I can finally get to the point of cutting the copper off and then pounding the rest through, see what kind of weight we get out of it. So there you have it. That is what's on top. So you can cut off that little piece there and just turn that in as copper. It would be number 2, since it's got a lot of this stuff attached to it, I would imagine. I'll have to research that, but definitely worth more off than on. So now I'm going to try to punch through the rest of this, see if it won't possibly come out easy with the way things are going. All right, so just wanted to make sure I had a good size punch and tried a couple. Seemed to go through pretty easy, even just using a mallet. All right, so that didn't go too bad. Just have to remember not to punch the punch through as far on the smaller holes. So now that it's mostly out, I'm just going to see. I mean, if I was in my shop, I'd just use my vise, but just wanted to see if I could maneuver this out. There it goes. I'm glad I'm doing this outside, not in my shop. But yeah, number 2 copper. So there it all is. I'll weigh it up and then weigh it with this, and I'll let you know what the cost difference is. This has now taken me about an hour and a half, but I had to cut open 3 units. I went pretty far in the one for no reason. So I'm going to take note of this model number so that I know if I come across another one of those, there's definitely copper inside. And then I'll let you know if I think it's actually going to be worth it for me to do this in the future. This is by no means a how-to, so keep your comments about that to a minimum. But I've been watching some videos. I watched a few people do it, and there are different methods to doing all this stuff. I just wanted to get a crack at it and see whether or not I liked it. But there's definitely some things that I could do a lot easier, I'm sure. But just the mess from the angle grinder, even though it's outside, it's going to get all over my tools and everything now. Every time I work out here, everything seems to be magnetic when you've got these filings. So I don't know if I'm going to do this in the future, but I'll weigh this up, let you know what today's prices will get me, and go from there. Let's put all of this on here. And I left a few strands off, but so you got 4 pounds of copper. So number 2 copper got me $2.46 a pound, so just say $2.50 since it's continuing to go up. So that would be $10 worth of copper right there. Not too bad, I guess. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be number 2 because you got all this crap in it. It's not clean, so I'm assuming that's what they're going to give me for it, which is fine. It's only a little bit more for number 1 from what I've seen regarding the numbers. So if I know there is copper inside, I might go through the hassle. $10, a blade and a half, because I had to do all of this just to get to the 1. And I don't know how I feel about it. I'll have to decide next time. It's probably one of those things where if you let enough time go by, you forget about the bad part of it and you do it again anyway. So time will tell. Got to find another set of compressors. 2 of these I actually found in the dumpster, both the black ones, so those were free to me just to pick up out of the dumpster. This orange one here I took out of an entire AC unit, and I thought maybe because the steel was so much better on this one that there'd be copper inside, and there wasn't. It was just aluminum. So like I said, just see what happens, but it was interesting nonetheless. All right, so here's a good visual of why I'll probably never go into one of those again. And on average, let's just go with 55 pounds for that size of compressor. I weighed a couple of them. One was about 52, the other one was about 59, and they both had a little bit of oil in them. So let's just say 55 pounds. The national average for turned in full compressor is 11 cents. So that gets me $6.05 just turning it in as it is, not doing anything to it. I went through all that effort and I got out 4 pounds of copper for the one that I found copper in at $2.50 a pound, which is about what I'm getting right now at my yard. That's $10. And that leaves me with about 51 pounds of now what's called shreds. So it's not a complete compressor. Now it's just pieces that gets turned in with steel and mixed other metals. And that comes out to my last price of 6.5 cents a pound. So that gets me $3.32. So the total between those is $13.32. Take the difference between all this work and no work, and you get $7.27. So is $7 worth it for me to get out the extension cord, because I don't have a cordless grinder. I'm not going to buy one for this purpose. And then to go through the hassle of making the mess, cleaning up the mess, dealing with whatever's inside and maybe things not turning out the way that you planned, or opening these up and finding out they're aluminum. If I had a bunch of these lined up and I knew that all of them were full of copper, you know, you got 10 units, that'll get you $70. If you got a mini operation going, it might be worth it to spend an afternoon doing that. I'd probably use a Sawzall next time to reduce the amount of particles that are all over the place rather than use a grinder to cut the copper off. But nonetheless, it's still a messy operation. It's a pain in the butt, to be honest. And for me, it's just not worth it. I don't need the money that bad. There's other ways that if I really wanted to, I could come up with $7 an hour. So, and it wouldn't take me an hour if I knew what I was doing. But the point is, it's just not worth it to me. I don't come across a whole lot of these. If you do, then yeah, $7 will add up quite quickly. But for my needs, for what I'm doing and just having fun with this whole operation, I'm not going to probably do that ever again. It was a pain to clean up. It was a pain to deal with. But it was great to get this experience and to understand all the math behind it and to see if it was worthwhile. I just watched another video where somebody did it and they said it's worthwhile to them. So it's really up to what's your time worth? What would you be doing otherwise? Is it fun to you? And is it just overall worth it? And it doesn't have to be worth it monetarily. You could just have fun doing it and enjoy doing it and like knowing that you're getting the most out of a unit versus just throwing it all into one price. So for me, this is where I'm probably going to go in the future for what I'm doing. And you can make up your own mind. But thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you thought about the video. And I'll talk to you later.